Hey, thanks for tuning in to the Underdog podcast. I am your host, Gary London, and special episode today. Yeah, it's special. We're going to be talking about Border Collies. So, I was first introduced to Border Collies about, or should have thought of this before I started the podcast, about 20 years ago. No, longer. 25 years ago. And the way I was introduced to Border Collies was through my aunt. She had always raised Sheltie Collies. Shelton sheepdogs are these miniature, I think a Lassie, but miniature. So I had always grown up with Sheltie Collies, and there's my first. Well, actually, that was my second dog. That's Chumley right there. Chumley was a good dog, but not real smart. Kind of dumb as a box of rocks. Actually, well, not dumb. The thing is, when we got Chumley, he got away from me. He got loose one day, and there's another picture of him. He got loose, and we were near Niagara Falls. This is actually right when we adopted him. He was about a year old or something. He was just barely not a puppy anymore. And we bought him in London, Ontario, and we brought him over the border, and we were on our way back to Ellicottville, and Chumley got loose and just started running. And I'm about 10 years old, and so I panicked, and he started just running the opposite direction, and so it became this real tense situation, and I couldn't get him back. And long story short, he sort of got hit by a car, but just kind of grazed him. So the dog, throughout his entire life, thought it was okay whenever he was loose to just bolt. So the dog never stayed close to me. I don't think that's a normal behavior pattern for a Sheltie Collie, but that was definitely the behavior pattern for my Sheltie Collie. So anyway, I grew up with Sheltie Collies. I had Muffet was my first one. I had him between when I was born until 10, and then when we moved to Ellicottville, I adopted. We got Chumley, and Chumley lasted, I don't know, 10 years or something like that. So I'm in my 20s, and I went to visit my aunt Maxine in Ohio, and she had this new breed of dog, and I was like, holy cow, this dog is cool. What kind of dog is this? This amazingly smart and cuddly and bigger dog than a Sheltie. And she told me it was a Border Collie. So I went searching for a dog. I was graduated from college. I was 25 years old and needed a companion. I decided to hey, come here. I'm talking about you. This is a Atari 2600. This is the newest model of Border Collie. So anyway, I was looking for a dog, and I was in Great Valley, and there was this motel that they had renovated into apartments, and a guy living there had a dog that was just barking all the time. He had to work a lot, and he didn't have time for that. That's the thing about Border Collies. They need a lot of attention. So So he went to work. The dog was just needing to run or just some stimulation. What he would do was just tie the dog out on this little tiny chain, and the dog was barking just nonstop while he went to work, just totally pissing off the neighbors, and So I mean, I didn't know any of this. I was just curious about the dog. I pulled in. I said, "Hey, what kind of dog is that?" And he was like, "Border Collie." Why? Oh, actually, he didn't even say Border Collie. He said, "Why? You want him?" And my heart skipped a beat. And he said Border Collie, and I was like, "Oh, that's just perfect." But he said, "Oh, there's some warnings about this dog. He's a little bit inbred, whatever that means." So we adopted Walker. I adopted Walker. I say we, but I was 26. I want to say. No, I was younger. Well, it's kind of irrelevant, but I just graduated college. I was on my own for the first time, and I needed some companionship, so I adopted Walker. And Walker was just the best dog. Walker was almost famous. Walker had such an impact on everyone that he met that a lot of people, real cute. He was a cute one. A lot of people, friends that I know, ended up adopting Border Collies. Later, I think Atari got some fur in my mouth or something. I'm like, what did you do to me? What kind of dog are you? So, yeah, I'm talking about you. So, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, Walker is just amazing dog. Oh, he had influence on other people. I know Jake Lillenstein, my friend from Cincinnati, he's been adopting Border Collies, and they make great pets. Michelle Schultz, another friend that used to be married to Sean Chamberlain, the drummer for Rachmaninoff, she likes Border Collies. They're very energetic. They are frighteningly. I picked the biggest word in the world to pronounce. Frighteningly, cut. Active workaholics who must have a job to do. Some do, some don't. Atari, our newest model, it needs constant stimulation. Puma, our other dog. So Walker lived about 16 years, and he did show signs of epilepsy throughout his life. I think that had to do with inbreeding. Like that weirdo who gave him to me said, "Oh, that's a real pretty picture of him right there." He's gorgeous. He was a gorgeous dog. He had some really, really cool, really cool markings. His chest was like half white and half black, and I thought that was kind of neat. He had my aunt used to call him Freckles, because he had some freckles going on. Walker never had a leash. About midway, he did. He grew up with a leash, but every time I put him on a leash, he would act like he was being punished. So it didn't work so well. So he was so well trained that he would just. One of his commands was stay behind. It was like a heel command, and so he would just stay behind without a leash, and he was very obedient, the opposite of the Sheltie Collie, for sure. I don't know why anyone would want to get a Sheltie Collie, to be honest with you. The Border Collie, all the Border Collies I've had have been really good about cats, but not maybe so good around dogs. Puma. So Walker lived 16 years, and then about a month later, I adopted Puma. And Puma, let's try to find a picture of Puma. Skip ahead. Boom, boom, boom. Well, crazy with the Walker. Okay, here's Puma. Oh, look at that. She's such a sweetie. Maybe I'll grab her right now and have her say hi. Puma loves cats and sort of acts like a cat in a way. Puma's gotten really fat. This is Puma on a sailboat. And Puma, come here. Not you, Atari. Come here. This is good. They're really gonna knock down my green screen. That'll be epic. Okay, Atari, move. Okay, Puma, come over here. Puma, come here. Come here, get her. Come on, get her. Come on. Urgh, she's trying so hard. All my wires are getting knocked her out. This is my life. This is my life. If you can hear me. Well, I always wondered what it'd be like to have two Border Collies. Because I've always been a one Border Collie kind of guy. And I have to say, it's been really amazing. Puma's put on quite a bit of weight. I don't know why. I think it's because I feed, we call him Little Dog, Atari. We feed Little Dog 3 times a day, and I think Puma's sneaking food, or it seems to me like Puma's getting more exercise than ever. So I think she needs to go to the vet and maybe, I don't know what's going on. She's kind of tangled up in my wires. Okay. Move your foot, Puma. There you go. All right, there. Just stay right there. All right, jeez. I'm knocking off my green screen. Well, it's always a little chaotic. Watch, I'm going to disappear. Oh, it's magic. I'm floating. This is what I use to cover up my keyboard over here. My studio is not that big. In fact, I step in my kitchen, and the green screen is just big enough to cover the kitchen area, and it doesn't cover my piano sticks out a little bit where my studio is. So if I remove the green screen from the keyboard, it just appears out of nowhere. Weird. And actually the green screen are just a t-shirt I bought from the Salvation Army store. So it was the perfect color. So yeah, Border Collies are fascinating dogs. They're almost human-like in their intelligence level. It's just they respond. They learn things almost instantly. If you give them a command and you tell them, and you don't repeat yourself. So I was with my aunt, and I had Walker. And Walker would never. I thought he was stupid or something like I understood that Border Collies were smart, but like the mind was broken or something. He just would look at me. He didn't run away like Chumley, but he just didn't. He wasn't functioning properly. So I was at my aunt's, and she herds sheep with her Border Collies. So she has just the ultimate command of her dogs. And I asked her to help me out. And she, my wires are glitching out there a little bit. Gotta fix that. So I was like, can you help me with my dog? So she put one of these choke collars around Walker. And she gave Walker a command. Walker looked at her like, what the heck are you talking about? And she gave one hard hard pull on the choke collar, but then praised Walker when he did it correctly. And so she went back and tried it again, and the second time she didn't have to pull on the leash. He just did it. He praised the dog, and he understood Walker come forever. So then I realized that the onus was on me to not repeat commands and to just mean it the first time. And from that point on, it was a one command deal, and either the dog was good or bad. And so I would give a command. If he didn't listen, bad dog, the command would happen. And I was like, wow, this is incredible. Really, really smart dog. So that actually helped with the kids. Like Walker, I had Walker, and he was responding to one command, and then later in life, the kids are born, and the same exact thing applied for them too, and it was beautiful. So thank you, Aunt Maxine, for some incredibly powerful parenting tools. So the thing is, the Border Collie didn't know if when I'd say Walker calm, he didn't know if I meant it the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, the fifth time, the sixth time, the seventh time. He was just waiting for the right time. So we adopted Puma after Walker died. Walker had maybe one bad seizure every 6 months. And the first one was the scariest. We didn't know what was going on, and we thought he was going to die. But then we learned about epilepsy and dogs, and you learn that the dog snaps out of it in 15, 20, 30 minutes, sometimes an hour. So so for us, the best way to handle it was to not panic. Obviously, you don't want to make things worse. So it was just constantly telling him if he was having a seizure, just Walker, relax, calm down, just sit, cuddle with the dog. I would have to just drop whatever it was I was doing and tell everybody to just get out, and I need to be alone with this animal while he snaps out of this funk. It's an overload of brain activity, and actually I have epilepsy too, so I did not inherit it from the dog, and fortunately I haven't had a seizure in over 5 years, so that's good. But it's a scary deal, and but it wasn't how he died. At the very end, he ended up with arthritis. He had a great life, and so if you have an animal that has epilepsy, it's not or a friend or a child or something like that. It's something. It's kind of a lifelong issue for most people, but not completely the worst thing in the world that can happen to you. So so we had Puma for like 6 years, and there's a picture of Puma again on the sailboat, and then 4 months ago, I was having a bad week. I got scammed out of all my cryptocurrency like an idiot. My bad. I was having a bad day, and then I was just thinking like, the next day that bad things happen in patterns, right? So just keep alert, stay alert. I was on the lookout the next few days. So like something's gonna go. Something's just be alert. And then so like the very next day after I lost all my money in this scam where I thought that my computer had been hacked and I gave all my information to some people. I was driving back from my mom's and I looked over, and out of the corner of my eye I'm thinking, oh, so the Amish advertise. That's weird. I never noticed a sign before. And then I look more closely, and it said Border Collie. It said maple syrup, and then it said Border Collie puppies. And I went, and I stopped the car. I drove up this hill, this long hill. These people are between Little Valley and East Otto, or Otto. And I met Atari and fell in love with the dog like the moment I met him. And then I ran home to get the money. I asked them if they would, whatever. We agreed on a price, and I ran home, and I got Midnight, my daughter, who's in the picture right here. And I was like, Midnight, I think I found a puppy. And she got so excited. I've never seen her sprint out of bed so fast. Usually she's impossible to get out of bed. And an hour later we had Atari. And at first I'm thinking, like, I've never had two dogs before, ever, my entire life. I'm thinking, like, I've always been a one dog kind of guy. How will the two dogs get along? And needless to say, it's been just, he's so cute. That picture right there. He's so adorable. Atari, I'm talking about you. How did you get to be so cute? Yes. Well, sir, I do everything in my power. Hold my beer while I show you how cute I can really be. Yes. Yes, sir. I am by far the cutest and most lovable. This is Atari. He's so wonderful. So, for all the people out there that have everything in the world, but their parents don't let them adopt dogs because they're messy and smelly, I feel badly for you, because I have everything in the world because I've got an amazing two dogs. Dogs are amazing. And okay, so I got to wrap this up. I've been going for 20 minutes just rambling about the history of my dogs. And I didn't talk about the history of Border Collies in general, and I just thought it's really amazing that every single Border Collie has evolved from one specific dog, and that dog is named Hemp. And so this is just some video I took of my dogs in the backyard playing around. So I just thought I would play that while I'm talking about Hemp. So Hemp, old Hemp, was a tricolor dog and was born in Northumberland, wherever that is. That must be in Ireland. In September 1893, and he died in 1901. And he was bred from two different dogs, obviously. A black and tan dog. So, like, the first Border Collie came from just two odd dogs. A black and tan dog and a black-coated dog. And Hemp was a quiet, powerful dog, which sheep responded to easily, and shepherds used him to stud other dogs, and that became the Border Collie style. And all purebred Border Collies alive can trace their ancestral line back to old Hemp, and he was believed to have sired over 200 pups over the span of his life. I just find that to be so interesting. So every single purebred, both of my guys are purebred. Puma has papers, and I would love to stud her someday. Or that's not the right word, is it? See, I don't know the terminology for this stuff, but I would love to have babies someday and sell them and get all the testing done. So if you're gonna have puppies, then it's good to get all the testing done on your dogs to know that the puppies aren't gonna be blind and have epilepsy and all that. So far, so good with the new dog. We did get Atari from the Amish, and my aunt was freaking out about that. But so far, so good. He was so cute. I couldn't turn him down. And so he might have a seizure or something, or he might go blind. Well, hopefully he doesn't go blind. I guess those are the worst things that could happen. He's been neutered, so we're not gonna breed the new guy, and that's that with him. So, but Puma we've had for 6-7 years, and Puma has not had any problems at all. So, if you got a handsome boy out there, give me a call, and maybe our dogs can make magic. So that'll wrap it up for this episode of the Underdog podcast. I hope you enjoyed it, and we're going to do more shows like this in the future. Don't forget to have your dog spayed and neutered. I think, like, control the pet population. There you go. And don't forget to like my video, please. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. And if any of the guys that are on the Hollywood Racing team watch this particular video, I love you all. Shout out to you. All right. So that video ended, and I should have just gone to black right there. So good night. I love you.